Welcome to the Sage of Three Paths podcast. We are three brothers who use this space to talk about a range of topics. Anything from politics, race, anime, and pop culture. Each giving our own perspectives and opinions. I'm the youngest, Mojana, also known as Junior Lamb.
I'm the oldest, Okello, but my brothers call me AJ.
Middle child Oz, aka Wizard King.
We three brothers. One sec. We once again thank you for tuning in and joining us on this sometimes cathartic journey. Let's dive right in. I don't know whether we're onto something, and maybe this is something we can discuss, without that, and we can make our own contract. But having the concept of writing your comic and singing that sounds like as a voiceover. I don't know, that for me was just super dope.
Thanks.
That was super dope.
Yeah, my pleasure. I like this is I'm happy.
If you need a voice actor.
Do you know what? I was thinking about doing some animation, but it takes so long because obviously
it's no joke. Animators are some serious guys.
It's mad.
Shouts out to all the animators.
But I was thinking about what Umeboshi would sound like, and I was like, I imagine he would sound a little bit high pitched, like, "Hello, I'm Umeboshi."
From the image I saw, he kind of looks like a bit of a roadman to me. What you saying, fam?
I would love that.
All black in a schema.
What you saying? What you saying?
They call me, sometimes ninjas just gotta chill, Watch them, that friend and things
100 times.
What have you been watching? Top Boy or something, bro? Come on, man.
I know.
Man's gonna rest in it.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Nancy, thank you.
Yeah.
And for one last time, please, Nancy, where can everyone hear and see you and all the creative things that you do?
And for sure, we'll put that in the show notes as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. I am nancy.art.music on Instagram and Nancy Art Music pretty much everywhere else. I have a TikTok. I post every now and then over there. I have a Patreon, which has a little bit of content. I would recommend that you probably subscribe to it actually in a few months when there's more. Build up that value. What else? Oh, of course, the Flawed Workshop podcast. Available on Spotify and YouTube and anywhere, any good platform for podcasts. Coming to Apple Podcasts soon, fingers crossed.
More blessings. For sure, we're going to remain in contact.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows, music between Mo and yourself.
Yeah, we need to chop it up. We definitely
who knows
get some work done together.
I'm happy. I'm in the zone with it. I'm like breaking through that wall that we were discussing earlier. So I'm
you got this.
Every day I'm itching more and more to do it, and I feel like that enthusiasm will, like a wave, wash over the wall rather than a hammer punching through it. So I'm excited.
This.
Yeah, check your emails. That's all I'm gonna say. Check your email.
Oh man, there was one more thing I was gonna say, but I can't remember it now. Oh, how's Zelda going? Breath of the Wild.
Do you know what? Thank you for watching the episodes and coming at me with the thank you.
Yeah, because I was curious because you said you were going to document it as the podcast goes on.
We haven't gone back to it. We haven't.
You finished it too quickly, Nancy.
Let me tell the truth. Let me tell my truth. Let me tell my truth. Okay. So this is what's happened. I was going through the game, grinding as you do, leveling up little by little, getting stronger and stronger, learning the game. And AJ says, try and do a boss run, because the whole concept of that game is it's open world. You can go to the boss at any moment. Mm-hmm. The moment you sort of leave the first island and you land, you can go run, make a beeline, boom, head straight for the boss. You may get your ass whooped.
You will get your ass whooped.
Oh, so people have completed it from the start. Yeah. What? 3 hearts and shorts and like just whatever weapons they picked up on the way.
So I did. So I felt there was more to, before this. I was like, oh man, I really want to explore this area and this thing. There's like a maze over here, bro. Do you know about this maze? He was like, nah, I didn't even look at it. I was like, damn, okay. I might go there. He was like, do a boss run. I didn't think I'd be strong enough. I assumed I was going to die.
I assumed he was going to die as well.
But I glided in, and within 10 minutes it was done. And I was like, huh.
Oh no.
How underwhelming.
So AJ ruined your
How
experience of the game.
underwhelming. Up until then, fantastic game. Absolutely fantastic.
Oh
Loved
no.
it. But the ending is just so lackluster for me. Based off all this stuff that's happening, just like you're doing all these quests.
Yeah, because the build-up is gone.
It's inevitable. The ending's it's a poor ending to a game, no matter what you do on it.
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
do
Oh,
way
really?
more on it. Yeah, the game is excellent, but the
ending
issue
is
with
awful.
being excellent is you got to finish excellent as well.
Yeah, you have
And
high
it's-
standards throughout, right?
It's I don't know how they could have.
I'm stuck. Like I got it
Oh, you
last
played
year.
it. Nice.
Oh, awesome.
Playing it is generous.
You've
I
played it.
See, through my explanation, I held off from using actually specific things like, oh, I'm going to get this shrine or the guardian beast and all this thing. But if you know you know the lingo, come on, man, tell me some stuff. Tell me your diary.
Oof. I
Quick
opened the game. I bought the game. I was contemplating it because obviously it's expensive, and I was like, "Oh, should I? Shouldn't I?" I bought Animal Crossing last week. I can't really spend £100 on games. Just oh, it's crazy.
I don't know.
The older you
Yeah,
get,
right?
the more you can't really rationalize.
It's
that. I hear you.
but I was like, it's on sale. You know, I'll get it. It was on like what £5 discount, but it never goes on sale. But I was like, I'm gonna take advantage, and I opened it. I was like, oh. I forgot, like, I've never played, I think I played one Zelda game before on a Nintendo Advance SP, and I didn't get through it because the cartridge was busted. It didn't save, so I'd have to start the game over and over. So I just kept playing, like, the first, like, hour or so of gameplay, and I was like, oh, that was fun. I'll do it again tomorrow. But with Breath of the Wild, I was like, oh, this is my opportunity to play a highly rated, good Zelda game, get into the lore, like, really dive in. And I realized with all those temples, I watched some gameplay footage, but not enough to realize that there's puzzles involved. And I hate puzzles. I hate puzzles so much.
Full disclosure, not all of them, but I would say 40, maybe 50% of the difficult puzzles, I YouTubed it.
YouTube guide.
Yeah.
I YouTubed it. I was like, I'm not here to do this.
No,
I'm
I'm
here
gonna
go
have
out
to,
and kill
because
some monsters.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
But where I got stuck is I don't even know all the character names because it's been basically a year since I picked it up. And the old guy, he gives me the little glider thing, and that's what I have now. And now I don't know where to go.
Beginning.
Yeah,
You just jump.
I
you know what?
I don't know where to go. Like, I kept trying to get up the mountain, but it's cold, so I keep dying. But I can't see anywhere else to go. I don't know where.
You haven't played the game.
No,
There's too much to
basically
it.
no.
There's too much to it.
I think I did the first, like, temple-y bit where you're getting the full
The
tutorial.
orbs. Yeah.
And it's like, oh god, just the little light rope thing and putting
Yeah,
the bricks
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Can be
And I was
tricky
like,
when if you don't know for sure.
Yeah.
but having said that, I started playing Skyrim in 2017, and I still haven't finished my first playthrough because
Swear down. Hey.
I think I've spent like what's it? Like maybe 10 real-time days playing that game, and I still
it's
haven't
doable.
done it.
I've never played. I know it's
Yeah,
more your
yeah. I'm a
lane.
big fan.
I've never played.
Big fan. Big
Oh.
fan.
Because I
love-
knew that something like that is possible, and I was like, I know I've got an addictive personality, so I'm out of here.
I'm out.
And it's
I
not
hear
even
you,
good
bro.
quests. I'm just doing fetch quests, but it's like the satisfaction of completing a list.
I hear you.
That's
Here we go.
I even spent money. Like, I love the Fallout franchise. I spent, I think, another 6 real-time days just playing Fallout 4, and I still haven't. Well, that one I've had to finish the mission because the story was really good, and I was like, oh, what's the ending? But with I got Fallout 76, and I don't know if you guys know much about it, but it didn't do well. They wanted to make a very famously single player RPG game multiplayer through this thing, and everyone was like, why are you doing this? We're all unhappy. We don't like it. And it was buggy as hell as well.
I heard it was buggy as hell.
To be
Yeah.
expected,
I mean, it still is, because I feel like Bethesda have that reputation now.
Contempt for their fans.
Yeah,
But
maybe. Unless they're listening, then please.
Oh, they're really trying to, but I truly believe that it's just the studio doesn't have any money, and the higher ups, the suits, they're like, why you've spent 300 hours programming this one thing, why isn't it done yet? And they don't understand the actual like mechanics of how to develop code and like do the design and UX, everything. But the only reason I think I played that game longer than I should have was because they started, a list starts in the corner, and I was like, ooh.
Give me that
Back to the list.
let me just get that thing. It's a fetch quest, A to B, and then I'm back, and then it's done. I get a little tick. I get some XP. The dopamine hit is real.
You hear that, game developers? The secret's not good graphics. The secret is not crazy or amazing. It's a list. Give us a list,
I love me a list. Ooh.
and you get the game time. That's it.
If in my like bullet journal where I write down my stuff, if some experience points came out of it, like blah, blah, I would be so good at life. Woo!
I hear you.
Watch out, world. Beyonce, I'm coming for your crown. Like
she is. You can see my knowledge on RPGs with this next stupid joke, but she is the Ender Dragon.
Yeah.
All right. That's Minecraft.
Yeah, Minecraft.
I see.
Another game that I don't think I'll ever finish, but that I feel like you're not meant to.
The only Minecraft game I played, please don't be mad at me.
Is it the story mode?
Story mode.
I played it too.
I completed it with my cousins. They're like the oldest is 13. Little girls. Yeah. No, because they showed me you can play it on Netflix.
Yeah.
You can play it on Netflix. Yeah,
it's such a simple game. Like I don't even know if you could call it a game because I feel like it's almost like an adventure book. That's an easier way to like put it. You just pick one and it goes to the next thing.
Oh, cool.
Whatever you do, the result is the same.
I love those books that it would be like, turn to page 58.
Yeah.
They were great. Wait, Nancy plays Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, dude, like when you said that, I was like, man, it's something that I've always been interested in, but I've never met people. Yeah, I've never had
anything
the friendship circles to be like, oh, let me come and be some level 15 mage or something. Let me learn some stuff.
Oh, it was on such a whim. Alex, me and Alex had like a whole conversation about like not spending money on like stuff we don't need. And then I come home from work one day and he's like, don't be mad. I bought this thing and I'll show you it actually.
Yeah, please. That's something I've always been interested in. I don't know about you guys, but I've always been curious to be like what's good really? Like it could be quite curious.
I had the opportunity when I was living in Leeds. There's a whole community for it, and I was just like, nah, I'm out.
This is the essentials kit for D&D.
Okay.
So this, I can't remember how much it was because of course he bought it, but he was like, I bought this and like 3 books and it was all like 50 quid or something. And I was like, why have you done this? We don't even have people to play with. And he literally went on Reddit and we found like a group of strangers to play with. We all met in a pub pre-pandemic times. And we've played once a week ever since, even by Zoom.
Wow.
That's awesome. Damn,
and
man.
it is so much fun. It is so much fun. You get to roll dice. It's so fun.
You have
it's
your
so
lists. Good. I hear you.
But actually, I would be open to if you guys want to do it as a podcast episode, that would be fun too. But I would be open to being the dungeon master for a one shot. So I could
do a one shot.
Yeah, I could guide you through making characters and basically do like a little world.
I'll do a one shot. My favorite episode of Community was the Dungeons and Dragons episode.
I love that show, and that episode is so good.
Yeah.
Poor Neil and
Fat Neil?
Yeah, poor Fat Neil.
Where Pierce was
poor
like,
guy.
Fat. I was like, man, this
I make
whole
him
acting
fatter.
is so good. Yeah.
Oh, so mean.
I hump his sword.
Oh yeah. For my
The
turn,
sword of
I
decay.
pity Pierce.
Yeah.
Oh,
Great.
mad.
There's a show, I forget who does it. Harmonquest. Dan Harmon.
Ooh.
Have you guys heard of this?
I've heard of it. It's like a Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, it's right? Dungeons and Dragons-esque, where they have a dungeon master, a game master, sorry, and they just get random celebrities to come on, and it's like a one-shot, but the story does progress, and there's seasons to it as like it all connects to each other.
I would love to do a one-shot.
Yeah. Like, we'll discuss this. 100%.
Awesome.
I'm down.
I don't know what a one-shot is, but I'm down.
One shot is like Dungeons and Dragons can go on literally indefinitely. You can play once a week for till the day you die, and basically the story, just like life, goes on, except this time it's fictional, genjutsu style.
Nice.
But
it's a
of course,
genjutsu, a collective genjutsu, essentially.
But except if a one shot is like if you could only do one episode of this like lifelong potential thing, I would, as the game master and dungeon master, plan something that only takes like a couple hours, and you guys kind of work your way through it. Sometimes one shots don't work and they take days, but that's part of the adventure, because you can literally do anything. If I say, you guys, all three of you walk into a tavern and a dwarf comes up to you and says, "Hello, would you like some treasure?" If you guys ignore that guy and say, "Nah, we want a drink," and go over to the bar, I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm a bartender. Hello, yes, I'm the bartender. What can I do?" And like, my goal would be to try and make the dwarf a little bit more engaging, maybe, so that you guys interact with them. But ultimately, you could be like, "Nah, we completely ignore that guy. We take our drinks outside. We're sat chatting," and I'm like, "All right, cool, yeah, that's fine." If that's what you want to do, that's this is why I love like single player RPGs so much, because in a good game, especially like Skyrim, where I still haven't finished playing it after like so many days and days of playing it, it's so cool. Like, the fact that they've been able to do that within a confined digital space is incredible.
Yeah, so now imagine that, but obviously just in the scale of your imagination.
And my imagination is insane, which is why I need to get it all out in Umeboshi comics and music and whatever else.
Welcome to the Sage of Three Paths podcast. We are three brothers who use this space to talk about a range of topics. Anything from politics, race, anime, and pop culture, each giving our own perspectives and opinions. I'm the youngest, Mojana, also known as Junior Lab.
I'm the oldest, Okello, but my brothers call me AJ.
Middle child Oz, aka Wizard King.
It's like, if I had a kid, I'd call them Nonsi. Or like Nanso. It's like, really? Can't come up with a different name, Naruto. It's your son.
First and foremost, I don't recommend you watch it anyway. There's
really
a lot more, there's so much better out there.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
However, if you have if you've already done it, then it's a classic. It's, as you say, a cornerstone. And a lot of different Japanese animations now will base stories off of that. So it's like a building block for a lot of animes now. But to get to my point, because I can go on and on.
Yeah,
but
tangents.
To get to my point, there's this concept in Naruto where there's ninjas, and these ninjas have like these powers. Now these powers are split into 3 categories. The first one is ninjutsu, where they can use these powers to do crazy, wonderful feats like breathe fire, walk on water, and all sorts of craziness. The second one is called genjutsu, which roughly translates to illusionary techniques. And the way that works is similar to hypnosis. So I bring that up because it's a word I use quite regularly, if anyone knows me personally, and we're talking on the perspective of not living truthfully, or because when you tell a lie, you have to keep telling lies, right? To continue to live in that world,
to maintain that space,
and that space is pretty much a genjutsu. It's not real. It's an illusionary technique. So Yeah, so that's one thing I use. I'm like, oh, living in a genjutsu. And
Yeah.
the thing about Naruto, the fundamental story of Naruto is the world is a tough place, but you can't run away into the make believe happy world.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah.
face the toughness and get stronger and better at taking care of yourself and your whatever as you go along. So
Yeah.
it's really freeing when you're able to get out of the genjutsu. But genjutsus are very difficult to break. You usually need a second ninja to come and disrupt you from the genjutsu, or if it's too deep, we're gonna have to draw blood. So
Yeah. It's like, get out of this lie, God damn it! I want to
Yeah.
save you.
The third one, I'm not sure if you was gonna.
oh
go
no,
on
I
to-
wasn't. But please,
Just in case we didn't forget, because we've
I
got,
was curious.
This is sorry. This is the
Ninjutsu.
issue. This is the issue. Sorry. Listen. Respect Lee and Guy Sensei and the Taijutsu family.
Yeah, that's
because
it.
you want to talk about
Third one,
Genjutsu. You
Taijutsu.
wanna, these people are cool. Yeah.
yeah, I was just
Taijutsu
using the
is
genjutsu
hand to
example.
hand combat, basically.
Good.
In
Yeah,
a
yeah.
nutshell, I won't go off some crazy tangent and give you some philosophical references and journals that you should read. It's just hand to hand combat. You try and punch guys in the face.
I love-
guys
I
or
love-
girls. Let me know.
I love stuff like that in anime, that it all comes from like these surprisingly deep roots in philosophy. But I like I don't know if this will be in the recording, but when we first started, I was trying to find the silver lining in like the singing and the song
Yeah.
that you were singing earlier. So I was like, my kind of philosophy to life is, you know, everything's fine, and then if it's not, it's okay, and that's like, you know. But you have like, I'm trying to learn to strike a balance between hiding when I'm not okay and like balancing when other people aren't okay and I need to be there for support. But I spend a lot of time on YouTube, and one of the videos I came up with that kind of got recommended to me was about being a Stoic, and I didn't really understand the concept, but it was this story that was being told, which is there's a man with his son in a village, and they own a small farm. They're quite poor, but they have an okay life. One day, their main source of income for like helping them with the land, their horse runs away. So their neighbor goes, "Oh, what bad luck! What bad luck!" And the father goes, "You know, it might be bad, it might be good. We'll see." And the neighbor walks away confused. The next day, the horse comes back with two other horses, wild like stallions, you know.
They went out partying.
Yeah, right. He came back, brought some friends, and the neighbor was like, "Wow! Not only did your horse come back, but you have two more now. What good luck!" And he goes, maybe it is, maybe it's not. We'll see." And it's like, And this kind of keeps going. His, you know, the next day, his son is trying to like tame the wild horses, breaks his leg. The neighbor goes, "What bad luck?" He says, "Maybe it is, maybe it's not. We'll see." The day after that, the army comes and they're like, "We're drafting young men for the army." He's like, "Oh, my son, he can't fight." They're like, "Oh, what good luck." He's like, "Well, maybe it is, maybe it's not. We'll see." And it kind of keeps going. And it's like, I thought, for me, whilst it might be nice for the dad, because he's just like, "Oh, this is just life. Things are just happening, you know, around me." I don't think I could live like that. I need to celebrate when things are good, and then I need to be sad as hell when things are bad.
To feel it. I hear
But
you.
at the same time, I think, you know, I just want to point out, you celebrate that you feel sad as well.
Yeah, I
You know?
like that.
Yeah,
Some like
all of that is us, right? All
Yeah.
of it, the good, the bad. There's parts about everyone that's a bit messy.
and I think I really love to commiserate, like to feel sad about something.
Yeah.
And sometimes it like, I don't know. I mean, recently I feel like I love to cry. I love to have a good cry because it feels nice in the end. Like it's like
I
the
totally promote
feelings,
it.
they're coming
Yeah.
out, and it's
Yeah.
like I feel like it's healthy. But like Alex obviously doesn't like to see me sad, so he's like, "Let me try and fix it." And I'm like, "There's nothing to fix. I just need to feel this." It's all very dramatic, but like that's just how I'm working. Whether it's good or not, I've yet to see, but I'm kind of open to this idea of being a Stoic, but it just feels very like flat. I don't know if I could live like that.
It's a add on to the tail of it, things are happening to people all the time. Like, regardless of if you're aware of it or not, the world's spinning, people are dying, people are hungry, people are living a lavish life. The best of things are happening, the worst of things are happening. So you're well within your right to feel both of those feelings, to celebrate both of those feelings. The main thing for me would be embrace it, don't dwell on it.
Yeah.
So that's where perhaps that stoic nature can come in a little bit, because by not dwelling on it, because something else is going to happen. The world is always changing.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my 2
That was,
cents
that was
on it.
probably the point of it, to be honest, but I just didn't get it. I was like, what do you mean I can't cry and be happy?
Yeah. And I had a similar, I guess, point of view when it came to that. And this is a book that I've got. I'm going to name drop another book. This is, and I don't know if you can see it, you won't be able to, but this is the Daily Stoic Journal, and it's 366 days of writing and reflection on the art of living. It's by Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman. But yeah, basically it's kind of a personal journal, and each day it has something completely like out of the box that for you to basically reflect on. And you have the morning reflections and the evening reflections. And I think it goes back to what I was saying. What you have that moment, have that thought, write it down in the evening, review, have that moment, have that thought. And one thing I experienced was my thoughts in the morning on a certain topic and my thoughts in the evening were completely different. Sometimes they were the same, sometimes they were completely different. And I think, it just goes and leans on what Oz was saying with, it doesn't have to be maybe something you dwell on. It's more so just overall acceptance that all of these things are things that will pass through your mind or you will experience in life. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it determines who you are or what you should believe in or what you should do next. So I don't know. It's a book that I could recommend. It helped me, I guess, on my journey towards that.
I know it's quite personal, Mo, but in what regard do you mean different? Like, is it different in a negative sense where in the morning you was quite hyped for something? You were quite like, yes, I am for this idea, this affirmation or whatever was the thing in the morning. But then in the evening, you're like, actually, perhaps based on the day I've had or perhaps in the feelings in that moment, it could have turned to a negative space or vice versa. You started in a negative space and went positive, or is it just a whole range of...
It's a complete whole range. Sometimes, so I can give you an example. One of the questions for one of the days was, for what have I sold my peace of mind? And in the morning, I would say in something like having the feeling of being right, fighting for justice/fairness, some other things. And then in the evening, I've said something like giving into my curiosity, sometimes gossip. Yeah. So it can be a completely range of different things. It could be the same thing, but also it's a good thing to reflect, because I think, I don't know whether it's something that happens in our brains or whether it's the frontal lobe or I don't know. But I think when it comes to different points in the day, different parts of your brain is obviously activated or more active. So I think maybe that's where it leans more towards your logical side or your emotional side, which is cool.
Interesting.
Dr. Moruto, please have some of my sesame cake.
Have some of my... I said have some.
Have some of my sesame cake.
Have some of my sesame cake.
What movie is that?
What movie?
What movie is that from?
Nah, it wasn't Tarzan.
No, it wasn't. It was
Mummy.
It did have giant gorillas and or something
Mummy.
like that. No, Congo or something like that.
You guys have lost me.
Yeah, there's
Nancy, you
one
don't know
movie.
that one?
No.
Nancy, we're gonna have to send you this link on YouTube, right, to check it out, because it's
Go for it.
absolutely ridiculous.
Might be able to-
I'll just paint.
It's from the movie called Congo.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is it called Congo? Yeah. Did you just Google it?
So
Yeah.
My
It's from the
dude,
movie.
my dude.
we were
with
kids
Verbing out
and
here.
we had like this VHS of a movie called Congo, and I can't even tell you what the story is about. I know there was like some King Kong thing inside or something like that.
Or was like what's a group of monkeys called? I'll just call them a group, like, 'cause there's obviously specific
Troop.
names. A troop. But isn't that just for apes? Oh, well,
I love stuff like that. Like crows, a murder of
Murder.
crows.
Yeah,
crows.
yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
Is it a troop of apes?
And I'm like, the other day I saw a murder. They're like, they flew
Of
over my
crows.
head.
That's such a dad joke.
I told you I love that.
That is
I
such a
love
dad
jokes. Mo got me into him.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something Umeboshi might say, actually.
Umeboshi can have it.
Oh,
Or
cool.
it could be me telling Umuboshi in the picture that he can have that joke.
Yeah, I mean,
Awesome.
I've been trying to
is
practice.
it a he or she?
Uh,
Sorry.
I haven't decided. Because I feel like I'm writing. I call him him because I don't know. That's just kind of the default in my head. But because he's based on like his mannerisms are my mannerisms, and so obviously I'm feminine because I'm a woman, and yeah, he's kind of genderly ambiguous. if
Yeah,
that
that's
makes
cool.
sense.
I say
That's
leave
cool.
ambiguous.
Orochimaru,
Why
yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Orochimaru.
That's another Naruto reference there. There was a character in it where you couldn't tell if it was a male or female, but brilliant character nonetheless. So
I love
He did have a
Weird.
big snake though.
Yeah,
He had a really big
weird and
snake.
strange. Weird and strange.
Sorry, I had to clutch at that one. That's one of my dad jokes.
But sorry, AJ, you were explaining Congo. Is there so a troop of monkeys
troop
like,
of monkeys. Yeah.
fighting each other, or they some sort of
Yeah,
super?
I don't
drug?
know what the
We're
movie was
butchering the
about.
story. Yeah.
we were kids. I mean, this is VHS times.
Mhm.
Can you remember any VHS videos? Maybe the Jonas Brothers had some VHS.
The
I
Jonas
think-
Brothers' grandfather, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I think in their documentary they had some VHS like home videotapes, but
Look at that! Wow, you were able to tell.
I mean, it's got that like 90s feel. It's all grainy. It's 4:3 aspect ratio. It's like,
Right,
aw, nostalgia. I think the VHSs that I remember are like Lion King. Actually, it was really funny because obviously, like, I feel like I don't know how what the actual distribution is for things in Africa, but when you hear about licensing media, you hear about it being like Asia, Australia, like Europe and America. You don't really even hear about South America, like as a continent, getting distribution rights for stuff. But clearly they have stuff like Netflix, but that's not even the point. Basically, growing up, you could only buy bootlegs of stuff. You could never be like, oh, you see that holographic little sticker on it and it's real. Nah, it's a photocopy. Some guy printed it in his house. Like, so that's kind of my
the cinema.
Yeah, exactly. With his little
Yeah, do you remember those? You okay?
Yeah, crazy.
But
crazy.
I remember that I had all the sequels to stuff first. So I love Lion King 2 because I watched it nonstop as like a 5-year-old.
Okay, we got you. Disaster,
outrage,
disgrace,
for shame.
he asked for trouble.
And actually, I
goodness.
was rewatching it I say recently, this is a couple of years ago, but when they have that song Inupendi.
All of them are big
When the
tunes.
passion fruit goes sweet.
Yes, oh my God, such a good song. But obviously as a kid, especially living in Tanzania, I cannot believe that it took me rewatching it decades later in the UK to realize Upendi is not like I don't know if it's the negative. So like nime upendi. Actually, that doesn't really sound right. But upendo is the word. Like it's not upendi, it's upendo. That's love.
They westernized it.
Yeah, and I was like, who put an I on the end of it? Is it because they wanted to rhyme things
Yes.
with it? Probably. Like the whole even Hakuna Matata. Like I was like, again, because I'm mixed, whether I'm in Tanzania or Latvia, people don't really know that I'm their people, whatever that means. So I was sitting in the taxi when Alex's parents came over, and I was explaining to them it's not Hakuna Matata. Like everybody here has adopted it because it's pop culture, but it's actually Hakuna Matatizo. That there is no problems. That's the full word.
Do you know what? Before
And the taxi driver was like looking in the rear view and he was smiling at me like, oh, you're one of us. Oh,
Yo,
Nice.
before this conversation, I didn't know that Lion King was set in Tanzania.
yeah. Well,
didn't know.
Kenya and us have a little fight over it a little bit because
okay. So
I
back
think
to
the
two.
Pride Rock, like that structure, that like shape, I think that is like in the very south of Kenya, but it's near enough to the border that, that I think people can like sometimes call it Tanzania. If like I think the Maasai, which is a tribe that kind of lives between the border of Kenya and Tanzania, they sometimes like roam around and they don't like, as far as I'm aware, that could be wrong, but like they just live there. They don't really care too much about like, oh, I'm in Tanzania today. Oh, I need to ride my bike and go over to Kenya. Like
those borders are from colonial masters.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't
yeah.
mean anything really.
But Kilimanjaro is also in The Lion King. It's that gorgeous mountain, and I love it. Like my boarding school, at the time it was called the International School of Moshi. I saw that mountain every day. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. I was so like every day I looked at it, I was just conscious to remember to be grateful that I can have this view every day. Like 100%. Tourists pay thousands of dollars to catch a glimpse of it, and then it's cloudy all week that they're here. Like I get to see it whenever. But like us in Tanzania and Kenya have like a little friendly fight about like, oh, like, yeah, no, Lion King is set in Tanzania. No, it's set in Kenya. It's clearly because Kilimanjaro. Blah, blah, blah. So it's quite a funny fight, but they speak Swahili in Kenya as well. So
I thought Pride Rock was purely fictional. You lot are blowing my mind right now. And everyone's just nodding their head like, yeah. We all know it. Yeah, we were there when they shot it. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
It's real.
I didn't know that there was a battle between the Kenyans and the Tanzanians.
It's friendly for the most part, really.
Over
when it comes to the Nile, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, well, yeah, Lake Victoria and all that.
Yeah.
Well, whatever its real name was. I think somebody, I read an article recently that they're trying to basically officially rename it to its proper name, because I don't even know what it was. Who's Victoria?
That's crazy, right? We know it by the names that were given to people who were not from the land.
Yeah, that's so like I thought about that for a while, and I was like, that's so unfair.
So, unpack that for me, guys, because I'm not sure I fully understand. So the Nile, and Lake Victoria. Lake Victoria that's not its original name. Like, please explain that.
Okay, so Ghana is
West African Ghana.
Yes, West African Ghana. Ghana's original name was Ouagadougou.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know it. Hey, I told you today. Today. This is
it's all over. You got to understand that people came to the land, invaded, killed, and said, "We're boss now." So it's ours.
Yeah. When people say they discovered places that have existed to people long before they got there. So like Lake Victoria, some guy came over and was like, "This is Lake Victoria. I declare it for the Queen." And it's like, all right, but like we call this Lake Juma. Like that's not the name. It's just a Tanzanian name. But I was like, Lake Juma has been around like since the days of my great-great-great-grandfather. Like, who are you? Who's Victoria? Okay. I've never seen her. Is she coming? Is she coming to visit? But yeah.
Ooh, well, I'm here for the growth. Give me more gems, more gems. What's good?
It's actually, one thing that is shocking is how much history has been erased and continued, and that's I guess continued to be erased.
Well, we all know.
When you think of history, it's all subjective. Well, the history books specifically, a history that's taught in schools, it's all subjective. There isn't, from my own personal experience, a world history book to say this is the truth of the world. This is exactly what's happened. Objective.
The thing is, you would have to do your own research. So, growing up in the UK, and we didn't go to any international school. We went to some, I guess, working class Church of England school.
Yeah.
The history we got to, and I'll speak specifically of, let's say, World War II. It's we were taught that we, as in the UK, won the war. And it's like, it's like, okay, I get what you're saying, but that's so wrong on so many different levels.
Yeah. And it's just like, they can't even, I always found this really weird, because obviously we would, everybody learns about the world wars. Well, everybody in the sort of Western world, I think, west of Asia, I guess, because apparently some parts of Asia don't really cover it as well. And so sometimes that's where awkward cultural clashes sometimes happen.
Yeah, where you see like Nazi memorabilia biker gangs in
And it's
in
like
Mongolia.
or like, you know, some parts of Asia where they'll like wear they'll be like, wow, this is a cool logo. It's like, no, no, it's not. This is what it means. And they'll be like, oh, what? That happened? How did this many people die and we didn't know about it? It just doesn't get taught. Like, but I always found it really weird that it gets called World War. Even like whilst I was studying it at school, it's like, yeah, but like, what were we doing in the 40s? What was Tanzania up to?
Yeah.
And it was mostly during that time, 50s, 60s. That was obviously like a couple decades after the war, but clearly that was the time that people were getting riled up, because that's when, like a couple decades after the World War, that's when a lot of African countries got independence.
And today is Sierra Leone's 60th independence. She did it legit. She did it. I'm just a Western African here who's just trying to appropriate the Eastern culture out here, but she did it legit. Nice.
Yeah.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
Man, I feel so disconnected from home, having lived here for so long.
Yeah.
I hear you.
I
Can
really
you speak Latvian?
Yeah.
Like, quite fluently?
Very
Or enough
more
to get
better
by?
than Swahili, because
check
my
you.
mom was around more at home. And so when I was growing, my entire like language history is so much fun. Whenever I explain it to people, it's like, what? Basically, obviously, my dad was studying in Latvia, and I don't know if his course was in Russian. I think it was. So he speaks Russian fluently.
KGB.
This is another reason I think the parents had some ammo for this theory. But him and my mom speak Russian to each other. My mom spoke Latvian to me, and my dad spoke Russian to me until we moved to Tanzania, when he started speaking English to me, because he knew my school education would be in English. So I was running around under 6 years old with like 4 languages in my head.
Wow.
And at that point, I hadn't really been taught Swahili, because my dad was making an effort to get me to speak English so that I wouldn't fall behind in school. And so I only heard Swahili from like people around me. And that's why when I speak it, it's so janky. My friends make fun of me all the time about it, and it makes me feel very self-conscious. So sometimes I have to have like a couple drinks before I speak to them in Swahili. Then they might make fun of me, but I care a little bit less. So
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What's the word for relax in Latvian? Now, the reason I'm asking this is because I've recently learned the word relax in Lithuanian, which is atsipalaiduota, which is crazy for relax. Atsipalaiduota.
That's crazy for you.
Yeah, 100%. This is a black British with African roots guy, fairly ignorant but open to learn.
I'm trying to remember.
My stance.
I'm gonna have to Google it because it's gonna bug me.
Do it.
I don't think I remember
Also,
it.
Google it, but then just do the correct pronunciation, because that Jane voice that comes on.
Yeah, the robots.
Aspalaqueta.
Sleep.
Let's see.
Huh? That's not Latvian. Get out of here.
Oh, atpusisies. Wait, is that right? Atputies.
So almost similar. I would say. What's the respiratory?
It's kind of like, I think.
I'm trying to figure out like the root of the word. It's different from English entirely.
It's really weird because I don't think it means it. It's more like calm down rather than relax.
Same meaning, isn't it?
Yeah. But I think like in terms of the way it's used in the language, like the way relax is used in English is like really casual. It's like relax. But atpusities, I feel like that would be in like a somebody's come in and they're like, it's like, oh no, atpusities, what's going on?
No, dang. Hey, sounds like a cool language.
Yeah, it's really interesting to I like that I know it, because it's one of the very few ways that I can identify myself as being Latvian. Because again, there's not many Latvian people of color. So it was really funny. Like when I took Alex to Latvia for the first time, people kept coming up to him and asking him questions, and he's just like deer in the headlights, like, I don't know what's going on. He looks at me, I speak back to them in fluent Latvian. I'm like, oh no, yeah, piedodiet, mes turējam. And they're like, oh. But it's so weird because there's like a full-on, like, I can see like the meme with all the equations and that woman's trying to figure out what's going on. It's like that every single time, and there is a pause. It's not like, oh, and then the conversation goes on. It's like, huh? Nani?
Nani?
I had a very similar situation happen to me in the Czech Republic. So myself and two friends one of them lived in the Czech Republic. The other one, they're both French. One lives in France, one lives in the Czech Republic. We went, the guy from France and myself went to go visit the French guy who lives in the Czech Republic. And we ended up in some Czech Republic village. Like, this place was a full-on, they had a 5-star hotel in this village.
Wow.
That's where we stayed. We paid like 20 pounds to stay
It's
in this.
mad
one.
how cheap stuff is.
And it was empty. We had the whole hotel to ourselves. It was insane.
Wow.
But when we were looking for something to eat, we would go in. The French guy who lived in the Czech Republic is of Indian descent, but he's born and raised in France, and has been living in the Czech Republic long enough to be able to get by speaking Czech.
Yeah.
So we would go to restaurants and they'll start speaking to the white French guy.
Yeah.
And he opens his eyes like a deer in the headlights.
Yeah, that's what Nancy just said.
Exactly the same as they're like. And
That's so funny.
And then so we go inside the restaurant. It's white French guy, myself, black British guy, and then Indian French guy. So they'll start talking to him. Look at me, and then the Indian guy would start talking, and they're like, "Nah, this is too much." We got turned away from several restaurants because they were like, "No, we can't deal with this. This is too much for us."
Oh no!
Yeah,
Out of ignorance or racism, or
all of the
was
above.
it because you guys were quite leery already?
Oh.
You had a few drinks.
It's me.
You had a few drinks.
What do you mean? It's me. I'm there for like culture and stuff.
I hear you, bro. I hear you.
Hey, Okello here. This section is a space where we'll be sharing short stories, creative experiences, and art.
Hi guys, this is Oz. This is a poem from one of my favourite poets, Benjamin Zephaniah, title, Nature's Politics. Love and peace and nuclear free, and life and plants and liberty, and food and shelter, answer me. Who made it political? The right to see, the right to view, the way this pen now talks to you. A place where children free to go. No answer me or don't you know. No need to dream or think too hard. Just take a look round your backyard. For life is nature's miracle. Who made it political?
With calmness and stillness, it comes to an end. We hope you found some gems and go away richer in soul and spirit. We're showing you the 3 paths of the sage. Your path is your own. Which path do you follow? Until next time.